Hey guys, Big Tin here. Today I want to give you guys my favorite Totemic RBG PvP build. You can use this in your battlegrounds, your RBGs, and your battleground blitzes. You're constantly seeing all my posts about how I'm doing 1 billion healing. Well, this is one of the builds I use to consistently hit 1 billion healing. 1.5 million HPS just by basically doing nothing, even higher than that. This is one of the builds I use to hit those good numbers. And if you do like this build and you want to see other Totemic Resto Shaman builds, you got to make sure to leave a like written down below and chuck subscribe my way. That'll obviously help push me into the algorithm so more and more people can witness the big tuna. So, in terms of your gear and stats, they actually are interesting in the sense that they don't really change too much compared to Farseer and Totemic. So if you play both Farseer and Totemic, like myself, you're not really going to be shooting yourself in the ass by going for this stat or that stat or for your tier sets. So for your stats, they literally don't change at all. Mastery is obviously going to be amazing. Mastery is just an extra source of healing. Increase the healing done by your spells by up to a percentage based on the current health of my target. Lower health targets heal for more. This is obviously going to be your prio stat. Haste and crit are both good, and they're both good for both Totemic and Farseer. Haste for Farseer is amazing because your casted heals, specifically Healing Wave, do so much healing. Haste is going to reduce the cast time of that. For Totemic, we have some pretty good heal over time healing, a lot of HPS, so the haste will benefit our heal over time, such as our Earth Living effect. We have Imbuement Mastery, which increases the duration of our Earth Living effect by 3 seconds. And we also have this Whirling Elements buff. We get 3 buffs whenever we cast our Surging Totem. One of those buffs is Earth. This will cause our next chain heal to apply Earth Living at 150% effectiveness to all targets hit. So you can see how we can get some pretty gnarly heal over time healing through our Earth Living effect. Healing Extreme Totem is our biggest HPS through reactivity. Your Healing Extreme Totems now also heal a second ally at 50% effectiveness, alongside with Supportive Imbuements, which increases the duration of our Healing Extreme Totem by 3.6 seconds. So with the extra bit of haste, you can get another tick or so into your Healing Extreme Totem, and that's obviously pretty amazing. Critical Strike is great for damp metas, which we are currently in. Games can go the distance. This is more so specific for Arena and RBGs. You can if you want to, but for Arena, games will go the distance, and not having the extra bit of mana. I mean, we've all played through these expansions. That is a really big killer. Resurgence is one of the best PvP mana talents in the game. Your direct heal criticals refund 8% of your max and mana, 0.80% from Healing Wave, 0.48% from Healing Surge, Unleash Life, or Riptide, and 0.20% from Chain Heal. So going for more crit and benefiting off of Resurgence is going to get you a lot of mana. If you do go for crit, however, you will have to go for a mana gem, and you will have to socket all your gear and get different colored Algari gems to benefit off of the 1% for every unique colored gem. So that's more so for your arenas. For RBGs, you still could run it for RBGs, definitely, but not having precog for me in a battleground type setting is like the worst thing to happen in all creation. With how many piss stuns, piss CC, piss knockbacks and roots and all this garbage, and how much of that is in the game, not having precognition just amplifies all that to the maximum in a battleground RBG type setting. For your 4 set, it's really good for Totemic, but if you care a lot about having specific stats, I'd say don't go for it. The reason I say this is because it's directed towards Totemic. It offers nothing for Farseer. So if you play Farseer and Totemic, I'd probably say don't go for 4 set. But if you don't really care too much about the stats, because the thing is, the stats are actually really good if you do go for 4 set. So it's not horrible if you do play Farseer. It's not you're going to have the wackiest stats ever. But if you do care about your stats and you do like to min-max your stats, I'd probably say don't go for a 4 set if you do plan on playing Farseer and Totemic. But nonetheless, Totemic 4 set is really good. What this does is that our Surging Totem will apply insurance to 2 allies within its radius. And when our insurance is consumed, the next chain heal, Healing Surge, or Healing Wave is increased by 5% in PvP combat. This will stack up to 2 times, consuming both of those buffs at the same time to get 10% extra healing on our Healing Surge, Healing Wave, or Chain Heal. Really good. And the reason why this is good is because insurance healing for Resto Shaman is the second highest amongst any healer. I think Resto Druid does have a beat, because our foresight is godly, but our insurance healing is really high. I can show you a screenshot of how high my insurance was this game. And it was my fourth breakdown. It was absolutely incredible. Very good healing. So here we have the build. You've seen this build multiple times in my RBG videos, Battleground videos, but I never really explained them. So I'm going to explain it now. Your general talents, if you want to know about them, you want to know what to run, what your flex points are, anything about that, ask it in the comment section. I don't want to waste another 10 minutes of this video talking about your general talents, so ask it in the comment section. But this is the build I mostly run for Totemic. It's one of the builds I run. Totemic is really interesting. The difference between Totemic and Farseer is that Farseer is the instant healing. Farseer is the instant healing with the multiple Riptides, Riptide CDR, Ancestors, you know, the power to your hard cast to Master Supremacy, the 30-second NS. It's all about the instant power. Totemic is all about the passive healing. Totemic is much more AFK. And that's kind of cool because you can do more stuff. You can interrupt more. You can purge more. You can do damage more. You can do a lot more things than simply just spam Riptide. It's kind of crazy. It's actually kind of fun when you think about it. The main star of Totemic is not Surging Totem. It's actually your Healing Stream Totem. Your Healing Stream Totems now also heal a second ally at 50% effectiveness. So my Healing Stream Totem heals another ally. It's healing 2 allies at once. That's incredible. No matter what, Healing Stream Totem, no matter what build you play, Healing Stream Totem will be number 1. That's fact, that's truth, that is reality. If there's ever a time where Healing Stream Totem is not number 1, you're doing something wrong. Because it should not be possible for anything else to beat the Healing Stream Totem. So where the finesse comes in these different builds is simply putting that extra healing besides the Healing Stream Totem into other areas. This build focuses on Chain Heal, this one focuses on Healing Rain, this one focuses on single target healing. It's actually pretty interesting how different your Totemic builds can be. But for this one, it's Chain Heal. This is the best for spread healing. Now why am I doing so much healing? Well, it's a combination of talents. The beautiful thing about Totemic is that all of your talents, especially with this build specifically, they're all working together, mostly in the press of one button. So you have passive healing increase through Amplification Core. While Surging Totem is active, your damage and healing done is increased by 50%. Amazing. Supportive Imbuements is another weapon imbue alongside our Earth Living. Imbue your shield with the element of water for 1 hour. Your healing done is increased by 2.4%, and the duration of your Healing Stream Totem and Cloudburst Totem is increased by 3.6 seconds. Amazing. We get more duration on our Healing Stream Totem. And by default, we have 5.4% increased healing done. Combine that with Undercurrent. For each Riptide active on an ally, your heals are 1% more effective. You basically have like 7% to 8% baseline healing increase throughout the entire game by simply doing nothing. Incredible. Now, where do the chain heals come in? Well, they come in through your Lively Totems. When you summon a Healing Tide, Healing Stream, or Spirit Link Totem, you cast a free instant chain heal at 100% effectiveness. Great. Going over all your chain heal talents, we have Totemic Rebound. This will basically cast another chain heal. Whenever our chain heal does reach max targets, this will redirect it to a totem. That totem will cast chain heal onto another 2 nearby targets. A little bit of extra chain heal healing, a little bit of piss healing, whatever. Totemic Coordination. Chain heals from your Lively Totem, and your Totemic Rebound are 25% more effective. Amazing. Now going over your actual Resto Shaman tree, almost all your chain heal talents are affected through your Lively Totems. Ancestor Reach. The additional bounce and 8% increased healing, it's affected through Lively Totems. Coalescing Waters. Chain heal mana cost is reduced by 10%. Who cares about that? Chain heal increases the next your initial heal of your next Riptide by 75%, stacking up to 2 times. It's affected by your Lovely Totems. Yeah, it's pretty great. See here, boom. Boom. I get my Coalescing Waters buff. So I'm pretty much just proccing this buff every single time I place down my Healing Stream Totem. It's pretty amazing. High Tide. Every 1 million mana you spend brings a High Tide, making your next 2 chain heals heal for additional 10% and not reduce each jump. Guess what? It's affected through your Lively Totems. Let's just build it up here. Let's just see it in action. I never thought I'd ever run High Tide ever, ever in a PvP scenario. But here we are. High Tide, 2 buffs of it. Healing Totem, boom, it actually consumed the buffs. 10% more healing, and they don't reduce with each jump. That is absolutely incredible. So the only one that does not get affected through your lively totems is Tidebringer, which is a little bit unfortunate. Every 10 seconds, the cast time of your next chain heal is reduced by 50%. It's not super unfortunate because it doesn't really have any much impact. It's more so affected to your casted chain heals. But the jump distance is pretty nice, and that would be cool if it was affected through lively totems, but it's unfortunate. These talents do not also affect Totemic Rebound. Does not work like that. If they did affect Totemic Rebound, Totemic would be much better, but they don't, unfortunately. But we can see in this screenshot here how much my chain heals are doing. You see here, it's in like my 4th breakdown. It's absolutely incredible. And keep in mind, I'm not casting chain heal. I haven't cast a chain heal at all this season. I've never cast a chain heal at all this season in PvP. Never done it. All of my chain heals come from lively totems. So the fact that it's my 4th in healing is actually kind of redonkulous. That's the beautiful thing about this build. I'm simply getting all these things to work by just pressing Healing Stream Totem. By just pressing Healing Stream Totem, I'm getting spread healing by proccing the chain heal. I'm getting extra power to my next Riptide through Coalescing Waters. And I'm also getting more weapon imbue, more earth living weapon power through this buff called Whirling Elements. This buff, whenever I cast my Surging Totem, it'll give us 3 buffs: water, air, and earth. Water and air go hand in hand. Your next healing wave or healing surge also heals another ally in your healing range at 100% effectiveness, and air reduces the cast time of your next healing spell by 40%. See how those two work together. Earth, your next chain heal applies Earth Living at 150% effectiveness to all targets hit. Yes, this is affected through your lively totem chain heals. You see here, place down my totem, I get my buff, use my Earth buff, cast it, boom. They all have Earth Living Weapon effect, and because I'm getting Earth Living Weapon on 4 targets due to the additional bounce to Ancestor Reach, absolutely amazing. They also are increased by 3 seconds due to my Imbuement Mastery, increasing the duration of our Earth Living Weapon by 3 seconds. It's so much free healing. So much free healing by literally just pressing Healing Stream Totem. It's kind of crazy how all these work together. Amazing. In terms of rotation, it doesn't change at all. It's all the exact same. You're simply just riptiding. Place down your Surging Totem, and then getting your Healing Stream Totems down there. Making sure you're managing your Healing Stream Totems. Making sure you're not overlapping or sitting on them for too long. So, the rotation does not change at all for Totemic. In terms of talents, it can change around. Going from top to bottom, current control is what I run for RBGs. This is an RBG guide. So this is what I run for RBGs. Tide Turner is an arena talent. I don't really take Tide Turner for RBGs. I don't find the use for it. The availability, I think, is much more potent than the actual healing potency of Tide Turner. Mana Tide versus Spearwalker Saddle Totem. Either is good. Spearwalker Saddle Totem helps with the instant healing that Totemic lacks by having some available 3 healing surges every single healing tide, every 1.5 minute cooldown, so really nice. Helps you to respond better. Mana Tide, like I said, games can go the distance. Mana Tide is really great. If you're also playing with healers, other healers that tend to go a bit faster, then Mana Tide is also great for them. Coming down here, Therazanes versus Reactive Warding, both are amazing. I just don't like keeping track of my Earth Shield. I just want to place it and then be done with it. That's why I like Therazanes. Reactive Warding does help with the instant healing that Totemic lacks, with the refreshing of your Earth Shield, healing instantly for each stack missing. The Water Shield too, by refunding you mana for each Water Shield missing. So, pretty good. They're both really good talents. If you don't like High Tide, if you feel like you just don't like, if you don't like the kind of time of it, because it only procs every 1 million mana you spend, which is pretty frequently because Totemic does burn through mana more, so you are going to get some good uptime on this. But if you don't like it, you can take something like Earth Living Weapon. I think Earth Living Weapon is actually really good. It's actually what I have for my single target build. And the reason for this is because for Totemic, we obviously have the ancestral reach for the additional jump. We have the increased duration on our imbued mastery, and we also have the whirling elements buff, the 150% effectiveness to all targets hit when my chain heal hits those targets. So 150% baseline increased healing with the earth whirling elements buff combined with the 150% mastery benefit from improved earthling weapon, you're going to get some pretty gnarly ticks on your earthling weapon. This can tick for anywhere upwards to like 400k. It's pretty good. I don't think this talent scales as well as it should, because without it, I mean, I could hit for like 284 up to 300k, and with it, I'd hit for like upwards like 400k. So I don't think it's scaling too well. It should definitely be ticking harder, earthly weapon ticks, but nonetheless, it still does increase the healing of it. So it's not a bad talent at all. You can go for Master the Elements. Master the Elements is actually really good for Totemic because you are able to go for the hard casts more, you're able to hex more, you're able to CC more, you're able to interrupt more, purge more, do everything else more besides healing because you have all this passive healing. Master the Elements, you can actually build these stacks up, and this also does help with the lack of instant healing by buffing the living crap out of your healing surge. So for your honor talents, they actually don't really influence Totemic at all in terms of its healing, besides Rain Dance for your healing rain build. Other than that, your talents are the exact same. Living Tide is just the best. Lock in, never changes, no denying it, no questioning it, no nothing. This stays in this spot forever. 45 seconds off of Healing Tide, 25% more healing every pulse. Too good. Static Field Totem is one of the best things to ever happen to Restoration Shaman. 1.4 minute cooldown. It's an inverted ring of peace. You can combine this with your Totemic projection to port people that are in that static field totem or that are caught in the pathing of your static field totem to its new location. I can group all these people up together and port them on top of their friends here, set them on top of that, and that's just insane cleave. Whether you're bringing people on the outskirts in or bringing this stack onto those people, either way, it's just such high value. You can see some clips here of me hitting some insane static field totems, grouping everyone together, and that's just insane, a maximum cleave. In terms of your RBG maps, for base maps, I call them domination maps, but for base maps, you want to get people off the node, you can get them off the flag point, port them away. If there's a vantage point to knock them off, like Blacksmith or Lumber Mill or Eye of the Storm, you can port them to the edge and knock them all off. Absolutely insane. This can put you so far ahead if you do manage to get a good static field totem. For peels, you can use this to peel for your tank. If you're in a flag map, you're on defense, peel them off of your tank, get those melees off of your tank, and with that amount of time, if it's a good static field totem, you can literally just have your tank go in travel form and book it. She is gone, out of there, really good. Grounding Totem, there's always something you can ground in terms of damage. You're grounding Chaos Bolts, Moonfires, Starfires, Frost Bolts, Frostfire Bolts, Arcane Missiles, Arcane Blasts, Arcane Surges. You can grounding CC effects like Polymorph Fear, Hammer of Justice. You can grounding Strangulate and Silence through Priests and DKs. You can grounding interrupts like Mind Freeze and Mind Freeze, Counterspell. Kind of having trouble thinking of all these interrupts. Counterspell from a mage, Counterspell from a warlock. You're grounding every type of interrupt that is a magical type interrupt. Totem of Wrath. When it comes to your other PvP talents, you have to ask yourself the question, is it better than Grounding Totem and Static Field Totem? And if the answer is no, then the answer is no. That's going to be the answer 99% of the time. Totem of Wrath is actually pretty interesting. Every time you use your Nature Swiftness, it'll summon a totem at the feet of the caster. That'll increase the critical effectiveness of all healing and damage done from your spells and all nearby allies in the 53-yard radius by 15% for 15 seconds. Pretty cool. Storm Conduit is actually a really unique skill. So Storm Conduit is this new talent that whenever we cast our Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning, it'll reduce the cooldown of our Astral Shift, Gust of Wind, Wind Shear, Nature Totems by 3 seconds. I don't care about the other stuff. Your totems. Every one of your totems is nature. Besides the Surging Totem. Every one of your totems is nature. Birds in the Wall, Healing Tide, Healing Stream, Static Field, Tremor Totem, Earth Scrap Totem, Grounding Totem, Poison Cleansing Totem. It's all nature. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Unfortunately, I did not record a battleground with this, but it so sucked. Like I said before, because you're playing Totemic, you get so much passive healing, and you're able to do more stuff. With this, you're able to do more stuff like casting Lightning Bolt instead of Lava Burst. So you can see how in a battleground setting, I'm able to just kind of sit here and dump Lightning Bolts when I don't really need to do too much healing. And you see I'm getting some insane CDR on my Healing Stream Totem. You can do it for all your totems. I mean, again, let's place out all my totems. There we go. Place all my totems. Place all my totems. Yes, yes, yes. All my totems are down. And I'm just going to spam. I don't think it works for Straight Link Totem. I think that might have got patched, but I could be wrong. No, it does work. Yeah, so literally all your totems. See how much CDR I'm getting on all my totems by just spamming Lightning Bolt? Yeah. It's pretty insane. It's pretty insane. It's really fun. Is it reliable? Kind of. It's not more reliable than Grounding Totem and Static Field Totem, though. But it is a fun talent to mess around with. Burrow. If you feel like you're under fire a lot and you are getting swapped to, Burrow is a nice little spell. Burrow under the ground for 5 seconds. You're untargetable. You're unhittable. Movement speed is increased. You can reposition with this. When it does end, you'll come up out of the ground, knock everybody up, and deal like 1,000,000 damage. Only Shield is a PvP talent. It's more so of a 2v2 talent. Any other bracket, it's just not worth it. You get Earth Shield and Water Shield. Earth Shield reads the target, and Water Shield will summon a Whirlpool under that target, which will reduce their damage and healing by 50% while they stand in it. You can keep them in it with an Earth Grab Totem, with a Lightning Lasso, with a Static Field Totem, porting them back into the piss. Pretty awesome talent. Electrocute is never worth it. It does no damage. You purge somebody off of their beneficial effects. It'll deal 200,000 nature damage over 3 seconds. Not worth it. It just does no damage. If it's stacked, maybe, as it is right now, bad. Counterstrike Totem is just bad. It's called the Idiot Check for a reason, because if it gets value, then you're facing idiots. So that's why we call it the Idiot Check. Summons a totem, and whenever enemies deal damage to either you or anybody that's in the range of the totem, they'll get struck for 100% of the damage they did to you. It's not good. You say here it says 100% of the damage dealt back to the attacker. If a hunter hits me for like a 6.8 million aim shot, they're not going to instantly take 6.8 million damage just to their face. No, it's going to be dealt over time. It's going to accumulate. But yeah, that is all we got to say about the Totemic Resto Shaman. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this build. If you do use it in your PvP shenanigans and you do hit some pretty high numbers, hey Big Tuna, I ran your build and I hit the most healing ever. This is insane. Your build is awesome. I love you, Big Tunas, and make sure to comment it in the comment section below. But guys, hopefully you all had an amazing day, and if you really did like the video, you gotta make sure to click the link in the description, as it does take you to the playlist of all my Resto Shaman content, and hopefully I see you guys in the next video. Alright, peace.